Hello. Today I'd like to speak about Saint-Saëns Cello Concerto number 1, just the first movement. So I was really surprised to see that there is a manuscript online on Petrucci Library, and that the slurs right in the very beginning are different than what we all have been doing, or I've been doing for years. We've been doing but the score says this. The A and E are connected, and I think that's in the original. But I will add a link and please check it out. It's interesting. As you know, we don't have an intro for this concerto, so you have to be ready and alert and sort of have that electricity in your body right before the orchestra starts, looking at the conductor, and that first big chord should catapult you to play your E. So and the same in the second time. Here I like to play a little less so that we can grow more and most. Here you can stretch just a little bit, just almost imperceptibly, just to show that it is more climactic, more difficult. Those dashes, for me, this is also a bar where you can take a little freedom. The orchestra is not really keeping the beat with us, so you can play a little bit with the rhythm there. And here at the poco animato, back in tempo, this stroke you really have to have a loose wrist, all in the wrist. So the first beat and the third beat are more glued to the string and heavier, and then you're gonna release for the three D sharps. And same thing here. Very theatrical this beginning, so I take a little or big breath here. Again, we are alone, and you should really study the score and see where we are alone, where you can take your time. And then we're going from a very appassionato to being sort of the second violin to the orchestra, so we're accompanying the orchestra in tempo 1. So definitely have the melody of the orchestra, which is our initial melody, in your mind when you're playing A. And a little oomph for the A. I think those oomphs are just helping the orchestra and the conductor react to what we're doing. So this is more lyrical than the beginning. The beginning is really dramatic, appassionato. But here at B, we have a more lyrical. Also, if you look at the orchestra, pom, 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 there's a lighter accompaniment. So also remember to play with what God gave our beautiful instruments. So in B, I like to have a more floaty sound. I know it's forte, but there is a difference between playing really direct sound here, sort of a serious like that, and more lyrical. And here here, when we get to the lower register, I like a more husky sound. This has to do also with projection. When we are in the higher positions, we're gonna cut through, it's easier. When we're in the lower positions, we have to really have that cutting sound. Otherwise, if we play too airy here, it will get lost. I like to hear the shift between the G sharp and the A. Let's talk a little bit about this shift here. In order to play it successfully, I think that you need to play the B healthy and then lift the weight of your arm and again use your heaviness for the higher B. And you will have to really save your bow, otherwise you don't have enough substance for the higher B. This is how I think of this shift. So you have to really give another oomph for the higher E. A word about clarity. If you feel that you're playing muddy here, think about lifting your fingers a little more than you have before. So really enunciate with your left hand. Same thing for the beginning. You can hear my fingers hitting the fingerboard. And that chromatic scale here. That's also a very good place to be sure that you're lifting your fingers, enunciating with each note, because it can sound muddy. Here. So we have 3 times that we have C, A, B flat, B, C, A, B flat, B, you know, etc. So you want to change those, don't play them. That's very boring. This transition, this diminuendo is really preparing us for the second theme, which is so beautiful and lovely. We're going from very dramatic and here you can even shift to that last A. Vibrato on the C sharp. So that C sharp brings us to the D, which is the beginning of that theme. Somebody wrote that it's a Schumann-esque theme, which I agree with. Look at the Schumann Cello Concerto. This is the same interval. Which is a falling fifth. And vibrato on each note. And I like also to really warm up the F into the G flat. This is a very expressive note on the G flat. And use your vibrato to show it. And then different. So maybe one time you're gonna shift audibly with a gliss. The second time simple. Vice versa, but you don't want to play them again the same. Different fingerings maybe, like I did here. 3, 1, 2, 1. And here stay with the 4th. And then on this second A, or last A, we start with a little vibrato, narrow vibrato. This goes with rising of your eyebrows. In other words, the expression changes. So we're starting something new. So after this, those harmonics, and then there is electricity again here. You want to feel that, and you're going to use your narrower vibrato and faster vibrato. After we had the respite of the beautiful melody, here we're back into charged energy. That's how I work on this. I know it's not easy, this stroke. Be sure you're not too much at the frog, about a third in. So the third eighth of each group is the one that kind of lifts off. Let's look at letter C, the animato. So those sixes. And you want to hear what's changing, which is the F going to the F sharp. The D will sound good, the B will sound good. That's easy-ish. But what's hard is to show that difference. So F, F sharp, G, G sharp, etc. So it's been a few years. And then here you want to again lift dramatically. You want to figure out where your second and third fingers are going to be apart and where they're going to be closer. And that's going to make the intonation work. So you cannot assume that the interval just stays and you're just moving up and down the fingerboards. So the E and the C is a smaller interval. Here we open up again between the C and the A. So interestingly, it's always the last eighth of those bars. Slow down into the allegro molto. You want to help the orchestra get to that next tempo. Letter D is light again. And use your whole bow. You want to get that airy sound, in my opinion. Always listening to the tempo in the orchestra. We're taking turns being the stars and then letting the winds take the lead. Again. Here, just be sure you're playing the quarter. A quarter, it's a dotted quarter, but they're not all equal. In other words, it's not. The last note is a little longer. Again, it's letter E. Something has to change in the third bar, in my opinion. So we're starting very dramatic again. Maybe a little more more time or a little softness without even diminuending yet. Diminuendo is written only a bar later. And here dolce again. And I like this shift to be audible. So I shift on the third finger, and when I reach the position for the G, I let go of the third finger. When you switch to the A string, just be sure that the color change is not too pronounced, so kind of smooth it over. Also, hopefully it's the same A in terms of intonation, not exactly the way I played it. Don't forget to vibrate on your first finger. I find that with students and with myself, actually, the first finger sometimes is left in the cold. So vibrate on the first finger as well. There's ways to also build that crescendo. It can be with the left hand. So a left hand crescendo is very important. It's not only in the right hand. You do it by giving more elbow, more amplitude, opening up your elbow as you reach the G flat. Here, I guess you could really separate this. I like connecting them, I think. A little bit. Bum, bum, bum. So yeah, when I play those long notes, very important to keep the orchestra part in the head. Here, the water are calm, they're not moving, so not much is going on. When we have dashes under a slur, it's something you can control your bow here with your index finger and just give a little more weight with the index finger while keeping the legato. So it's not a full stop. It's not that. And yeah, you can just practice with open string. And then add the notes. And add the left hand. When we have those long notes, it's important to keep them alive, but with a little vibrato. And we'll talk about the second movement next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.